Coming up next, it is Elmwood versus Clyde. You better buckle up for a little mental mayhem. Only one team can leave victorious. Who's it gonna be? Only one way to find out. BGSU Brain Game starts right now. Welcome to BGSU Brain Game, Elmwood versus Clyde. Let's get right to it and meet our teams. Starting off with Elmwood. Tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Thaddeus. I'm a senior. To my right is Emily, a freshman. To my left is Lauren, a sophomore, and we're coached by Mrs. Fawcett.
All right, welcome to Elmwood. Clyde, tell us who you are.
Hello, my name is Dylan. I'm a senior. To my left is Catherine, a freshman, and to my right is Lillian, a junior, and we are coached by Mrs. Detweiler.
All right, welcome to both of our teams. We're going to start things off with the toss-up round. There are 15 questions in the toss-up round. They're worth 10 points apiece. No deduction for an incorrect answer, so everyone can relax and have a little bit of fun with this round. You may confer before buzzing in, not after, and you can steal a question in this round. Elmwood, Clyde, are you ready? Toss-up round starts right now. Identify the ancient mathematician who devised a clever method or sieve for identifying prime numbers. He was the chief librarian at the Library of Alexandria. Time. Eratosthenes was what we were looking for there. He served as Secretary of State from 1947 to 1949. Identify this general who directed aid to foreign nations after World War II and whose last name was given the plan. That would be Clyde. Dylan.
Marshall.
Marshall is what we were looking for there, yes. This international city, one can visit the Left Bank, the Champs-Élysées, and the Eiffel Tower. That would be Clyde. Dylan.
Paris.
That would be Paris. Current requirements for this distinction are 21 merit badges, 13 of which are specifically required. That will be Clyde. Catherine.
Eagle Scout.
Eagle Scout is what we were looking for there, yes. Who wrote The Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County? That will be Clyde. Dylan.
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain, yes. This city in the Netherlands is the home of many international organizations that arbitrate justice, including the International Criminal Court. Elmwood. Thaddeus.
Amsterdam?
Incorrect. Clyde, would you like to steal? That would be Clyde. Dylan.
The Hajj.
We will accept that, yes. For which U.S. state did President Ronald Reagan serve as governor? That would be Clyde. Dylan.
California.
California is correct. In the following sentence, Jake's friends ostracized him after he was detained for shoplifting. What is the correct spelling of the word ostracized? Elmwood. Thaddeus.
Ostricized.
Incorrect. Clyde, would you like to steal? That would be Clyde. Dylan.
Ostracized.
Correct. You put an I where an A should have been. Which premise that the authority of a state and its government is created and sustained by the consent of its people through their elected representatives was referenced in the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854. Clyde. Dylan.
Popular sovereignty.
That is what we were looking for, yes. In this short story by Edgar Allan Poe, an unnamed narrator murders his roommate. Give the title of this story that ends with a conscience-driven confession. Clyde. Dylan.
Telltale Heart.
Telltale Heart, yes. Shaped like a horseshoe and consisting of the corpus and the ramus, This bone of the human body is more commonly called the lower jawbone. What is its science? That would be Clyde. Dylan.
Mandible.
Mandible, yes. That is all 15 questions in our toss-up round. Let's take a look at our score. We have Elmwood currently with no score and Clyde with 100 points. But stay tuned. Our risk and reward category is coming up next. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. We currently have Clyde in the lead with 100 points. They're going against Elmwood. Before we get to our next round, looks like we have some substitutions for Clyde. Tell us who's joined your team.
To my left is Quinella, a freshman, and to my right is Kendall, also a freshman.
Welcome to you both. Elmwood staying with their lineup from the last round. This is our risk and reward round. There are 9 questions in this round that are worth 10 points. No deduction for an incorrect answer. You will have the option of a 10th risk and reward question. You can risk in 5-point increments up to 30 points of points that you have accumulated on that question. We'll give you a topic before making that risk. However, I must warn you, an incorrect answer there will result in negative points. So if you risk 5, you can lose 5. All right, so Clyde, since you have 100 points, that means Elmwood, you are off to isolation. Clyde, are you ready for your risk and reward round?
Mm-hmm.
It starts right now. Among Mark Twain's novels, which one contains the characters Pap and the con men the Duke and the King, as well as a feud between the Grangerford and the Shepherdson families?
Pass.
They're going to pass on that. Huckleberry Finn. Many of literature's dysfunctional societies, such as Community in Lois Lowry's The Giver, are at first portrayed as a perfect society, much like James Hilton's Shangri-La. What term designates these ideal, often paradise-like communities? That would be Dylan.
Utopia.
Utopia is what we were looking for there, yes. Identify the domestic animal that was considered sacred by the ancient Egyptians and which was protected by laws that could bring death for harming one. Clyde, Dylan.
Cat.
That would indeed be a cat. The Carthaginian general Hannibal fought against the Romans in the Second Punic War. He is known for crossing the Alps with what beasts of burden? Clyde, Dylan.
Elephants.
They are indeed elephants, yes. Mother Teresa, now a canonized saint by the Catholic Church, worked with the poor in India, primarily in Kolkata. Where was Mother Teresa born?
Pass.
Macedonia is what we were looking for there. John Jacob Astor was a German immigrant who became the first multimillionaire in the United States. He invested widely in real estate in New York and became a well-known patron of the arts. What business started Astor on his way toward amassing great wealth?
Pass.
They're going to pass. The fur trade. This kind of speech is often given at funerals to honor the dead. The word comes from the Greek for praise. What is this kind of address called? That would be Clyde. Quinella.
Eulogy.
A eulogy, yes. There are 3 kinds of bone fractures: simple, comminuted, and what? Clyde, Dylan.
Compound.
Compound, yes. This is now our risk and reward question. The topic is explorers. Clyde, would you like to risk up to 30 points, 5-point increments, or pass on this question?
We'll risk 10 points.
They are going to risk 10 points. In 1492, Columbus set out to find a sea route to India. A few years later, which Portuguese explorer sailed around the Horn of Africa and thereby opened up Asia for trade by sea?
Da Gama.
Your answer is Da Gama. We will reveal if you are correct at the end of this round. Suspense. Now that is the end of the risk and reward round for Clyde. It is now time for you to head off to isolation. Now let's bring back in Elmwood. Elmwood, are you ready? All right. Elmwood, your risk and reward round starts right now. Among Mark Twain's novels, which one contains the characters Pap and the conmen, the Duke and the King? That would be Elmwood. Thaddeus.
The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
That is indeed Huckleberry Finn. Many of literature's dysfunctional societies, such as Community in Lois Lowry's The Giver, are at first portrayed as perfect societies, much like James Hilton's Shangri-La. What term designates these ideal? That will be Elmwood. Lauren.
Utopian.
A utopia, paradise-like communities. Identify the domestic animal that was considered sacred by the ancient Egyptians. That will be Elmwood. Lauren.
Cats.
Do you have one?
No.
I was just asking because I love them. Sorry, that's just me. Next question. The Carthaginian general Hannibal fought against the Romans in the Second Punic War. He is known for crossing the Alps with what beasts? That will be Elmwood. Thaddeus.
Elephants.
Elephants, yes. This kind of speech is often given at funerals to honor the dead. The word comes from the Greek for praise. What is this kind of address called? That will be Elmwood. Lauren.
Eulogy.
A eulogy, yes. There are three kinds of bone fractures: simple, comminuted, and what? Elmwood. Emily.
Hairline?
I'm sorry?
Hairline?
Can we accept that? We cannot. We need compound. Compound. All right, that is all 9 of your risk and reward questions. Now is the time if you want to decide if you want to take a risk. The topic is explorers. You have the option of risking up to 30 points in 5-point increments, or you can pass. Elmwood, what would you like to do?
If we do it, we should probably do really small.
Yeah.
10, 15.
I was thinking
10.
10 points.
10 points?
10 points.
All right, Elmwood is going for 10 points. In 1492, Columbus set out to find a sea route to India. A few years later, which Portuguese explorer sailed around the Horn of Africa and thereby opened up Asia for trade by sea? That would be Elmwood. Lauren.
Ferdinand Magellan.
Magellan is Elmwood's answer. We will reveal the correct answer once we bring back in Clyde. So stay tuned. We're going to find out what our scores are and the answer to our risk and reward question. Stay tuned. Welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. It is Clyde versus Elmwood. We have both our teams back in the studio. It is now time to reveal our scores. Clyde, you have 150 points. Elmwood, you have 50 points. All right, both teams have elected, to do the risk and reward question. Elmwood and Clyde both risked 10 points on the question of which Portuguese explorer sailed around the Horn of Africa and thereby opened up Asia for trade by sea. Elmwood said Magellan. Clyde said Da Gama. The correct answer is Vasco da Gama. So let's update our scores. Our scores now stand with Elmwood at, that would be 40 points, correct, 40 points, and Clyde at 160 points. That's risk and reward, folks, risk and reward. But still a very close competition. Coming up next, things can change very, very quickly. It's our category round where questions are worth up to 30 points, but deductions start. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. Elmwood 40 points, Clyde at 160 points. Looks like we have some more substitutions. Let's start off with Elmwood. Tell us who's joined your team.
To my right is Alex, a freshman.
All right, and Clyde, who has joined your team?
To my right is Grace. She's a freshman.
All right, welcome to our 2 new players. This is our category round. There are 6 categories to choose from, and questions are worth 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 points. But I'm warning both of my teams now. Deductions start now. You go for 15, you can lose 15. This is not a timed round. You can make 25 selections, 25 out of 30 questions. And hidden somewhere on our board is our new double or nothing question, meaning exactly what it says. You can get double the points. If you go for 20, it could be 40. If you get it wrong, 0. 0 deduction, all right? Okay, Clyde, Elmwood, are we ready? All right, Elmwood, since you are at 40 points, you get to make the first selection.
Polygons for 20.
Polygons for 20 points. Correctly identify each of the following associated with polygons. Name for the point of intersection of 2 sides in a polygon. Elmwood, Lauren.
Vertex.
Vertex is correct. Elmwood still in control.
Polygons for 15.
Polygons for 15 points. Polygon with 4 congruent sides and 4 right angles. Elmwood, Thaddeus.
Rectangle.
Incorrect. That would be Clyde. Dylan.
Square.
That is a square, yes.
Golf for 10.
Golf for 10 points. What should you yell when your shot is heading towards another? That would be Clyde. Dylan.
4.
I say it all the time. All right, Clyde, still in control.
Golf for 15.
Golf for 15 points. When a player scores 2 shots less than par on a hole, it is called a what? Elmwood, Thaddeus.
Eagle.
Eagle is correct. Elmwood, back in control.
Golf for 20.
Golf for 20 points. When a player scores 2 shots more than par on a hole, that would be Elmwood, Thaddeus.
Double bogey.
Double bogey, I get a lot of those as well. Elmwood in control.
Golf for 25.
Golf for 25 points. What is an ace? Elmwood, Thaddeus.
Hole in 1.
A hole in 1, yes. Elmwood in control.
Golf for 30.
Golf, finishing off this category. What is the meaning of the abbreviation OB on white stakes around the course? Elmwood, Thaddeus.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds is correct, and Elmwood in control.
Polygons for 25.
Polygons for 25 points. Name for a polygon with 9 sides. That would be Clyde. Dylan.
Nonagon.
Nonagon is correct. Clyde, back in control.
Polygons for 10.
Polygons for 10 points. Sum of the exterior angles in any polygon. Elmwood, Thaddeus.
Perimeter.
Incorrect. Clyde, would you like to steal? 360 degrees is what we needed there. Clyde in control of the board.
Stock market symbols for 10.
Stock market symbols for 10 points. Identify the company associated with each of the following stock market symbols. TSLA. Elmwood, Thaddeus.
Tesla.
Tesla is correct. Elmwood, back in control.
Stock market for 15.
Stock market now for 15 points. F. That would be Clyde. Dylan.
Ford.
Ford is correct. Clyde in control.
Stock market for 20.
Stock market for 20 points. INTC. Elmwood, Thaddeus.
Intel Corporation.
Intel Corporation is correct. Elmwood now back in control.
Earth science for 10.
Earth science for 10. Identify each of the following terms from earth science. Region of Earth between the crust and outer core. Elmwood, Thaddeus.
Mantle.
Mantle is correct. Elmwood in control.
Earth science for 15.
Earth science for 15 points. A device that determines the distance of an object underwater by recording echoes Elmwood, Thaddeus.
Sonar.
Sonar, yes. Elmwood in control.
Earth science for 25.
Earth science for 25. Black or darkly colored glass-like volcanic rock used for dating objects. Clyde, Dylan.
Carbon.
Incorrect. Elmwood. Lauren.
Obsidian.
Obsidian is what we needed there. Yes. Elmwood in control and now in the lead.
Phobia for 15.
Phobia for 15. Given a phobia, identify the idea, creature, or thing feared intensely. Pyrophobia. Elmwood, Thaddeus.
Fear of fire.
Fear of fire is correct. Elmwood still in control.
Phobia for 20.
Phobia for 20 points. Equinophobia. Clyde, Dylan.
Fear of horses.
Is indeed the fear of horses. Clyde in control, and we are tied.
Phobias for 10.
Phobias for 10 points. Aerophobia. Elmwood, Lauren.
Fear of flying.
It is indeed the fear of flying. We are getting down to our last few questions. Elmwood in control.
Phobia for 25.
Phobias for 25. Bibliophobia. Elmwood, Lauren.
Fear of the religion.
Incorrect. Clyde, would you like to steal? That would be Dylan.
Fear of books.
It is indeed the fear of books, yes. Clyde in control. Last three questions.
Famous inventors for 10.
Famous inventors for 10 points. From the following description, identify each inventor or engineer. First person to obtain a patent on the telephone. Elmwood, Lauren.
Alexander Graham Bell.
Correct. Elmwood back in control.
Earth science for 30.
Earth science for 30 points. Accumulation of unsorted material deposited by a glacier. That would be Clyde. Grace.
Sediment.
Incorrect. Elmwood would like to steal. Time. We needed specifically till there. All right. Elmwood, you are in control. This will be the final selection in this round.
Phobia for 30.
Phobia for 30 points. Hemophobia. Elmwood, Lauren.
Fear of blood.
The fear of blood. That is the end of our category round. Let's take a look at our score. What a back and forth battle, folks. We have Clyde with 215 points and Elmwood currently in the lead with 245 points. It is anybody's game. Our brainstorm is coming up next. 20 points apiece, negative 20 for an incorrect answer. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. We promised you mental mayhem, and we delivered. That last round was back and forth. Our score stands at Clyde, 215 points. Elmwood currently in the lead with 245 points. All right, looks like we have some substitutes before we head to our next round. Elmwood, tell us who has joined your team.
To my right is Madison, a sophomore.
Welcome to Madison. And Clyde, who has joined your team?
Catherine is back on my left, and Lillian is back on my right.
All right, welcome back to our players. All right, this is it. Our brainstorm round. 3 minutes. Questions are worth 20 points apiece. Negative 20 points for an incorrect answer. You may confer before buzzing in, not after. If you do, that will be considered an incorrect answer, and you will lose 20 points. There is no stealing. I repeat, no stealing in this round. Clyde, Elmwood, are you ready? Still anybody's game, but the brainstorm starts right now. When tennis was considered a white person's sport, this African American won 3 Grand Slam titles. Name him. Time. Arthur Ashe. Which state is known as the Show Me State? Clyde, Dylan.
Missouri.
It is indeed Missouri. What is the longest river in the United States? Elmwood, Lauren.
Mississippi.
Incorrect. The Missouri. This poet who wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey is known, that will be Elmwood. Thaddeus.
Homer.
Homer is correct. This school of American romantic landscape painters was named after a river in New York. Name of the river. Clyde, Dylan.
Hudson.
Hudson is correct. Who painted Guernica, a work that has been seen as a powerful symbol of anti-war sentiment? Pablo Picasso. Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci both painted famous frescoes. A fresco is created by using watercolor paints directly onto what? Elmwood, Lauren.
Plaster.
Will we accept plaster? Yes, we will. In what year did the U.S. Civil War officially begin? Elmwood, Thaddeus.
1861.
1861 is correct. Name the U.S. president who became a Supreme Court justice after he served his term as president. Clyde, Dylan.
Taft.
Taft is correct. Who is the creator of James Bond? Clyde, Dylan.
Fleming.
Fleming is correct. Who wrote the 1812 overture? That would be Elmwood. Thaddeus.
Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky is correct. The word BAM is the trademark of which chef? Time. End of round. It was Emerald Lagasse. Let's take a look at our score. What a close game, folks. We have Clyde, 295 points, and our winner with 305 points is Elmwood. Let's give both these teams a big round of applause. The spirit of good sportsmanship, let's meet in the middle, shake hands, and we will see you at the next BGSU Brain Game. Come on around, everyone, come on up.